live stream Midway Assembly of God. Appreciate you joining in with us tonight. And we begin this service. I want you to be mindful of your prayer requests. Type those in and send it there. We're going to write those down and pray for those before the preaching tonight. So I want to welcome you in. Just get in and worship like we did Sunday. And just want to be a reminder on your prayer requests. Amen. Let's get our minds on the Lord.
If you got a book at home, page 39. If not, most of you probably know it, Power in the Blood.
Yes.
Amen.
Blood.
92, Just a Little Talk with Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Just a little talk with Jesus always makes everything all right. I want to say thank you to every one of you that's joining and watching. We appreciate it so very much. Appreciated all the comments we received on Sunday morning and Sunday night. And all of you that was viewing, and appreciate again tonight that you're watching and in this service. Really, really appreciate you participating again. And just a quick reminder, every prayer request, type those in. We'll try to get those wrote down. Some of them got in a little bit too late on Sunday night. We didn't get to mention those. But we're trying to get all of those written down so we can mention those and pray together. And just continue to keep your mind on the Lord. Let's worship. I know it's Wednesday night. Everything's a little different. But we're still worshiping the Lord. And you ought to be able to feel the presence of the Lord where you are. No matter where that is, you ought to be able to feel. Because we all worship, praise Him together. His presence will come down in our midst. Praise God, praise God.
And the fact is, this race on
let me know He's on my side and I'm on His side. Thank God He's right there for us each and every day. Again, I want to say thank you for all you that are watching tonight. And I want to go to the Lord in prayer for our prayer requests. That way, when we have the altar service, different ones dismiss at different times at your home, wherever you may be watching. We do want to remember different needs tonight right here at Midway. Now again, if you've got a need, text that in right quick. Just get an account of all that so we can make it mention and everybody pray together. Brother Scott Ryan, Sister Jennifer, they're in Houston. He's got his scans next couple of days and find out results where he stands right now. We're praying, Brother Scott, believing for a good report. Sister Betty Stoker, continue to pray that God completely heal her body. Sister Sandra Dixon as well, that God will touch, work, and move into her. Our president, our vice president, all the leaders of our country that's making these very tough decisions. And God will just guide and direct them. Give them the direction to go in. All those that are affected by this virus, those that's lost a loved one, and those that are sick, thank God the encouraging report of Brother Darrell Turner, and those in the church there in Arkansas that we read about on Facebook. I read today about the missionaries, the Assemblies of God missionaries. I forget right now where they were at, but he was not doing well, or on the ventilator, I believe it was. God will just touch and minister to all the different ones that's been affected by this. Not just the virus, but the jobs and finances and different things that goes with this. And not just the virus. There's other things going on in people's lives. Let's remember the Nicholson family. We call our Granny Senior at Richmond. They buried her today, so let's remember that family. God will just minister to them. Anyone in the sanctuary have a prayer request? I know Lexi Deas starts her treatment on Friday, I believe, so let's remember Lexi Deas. Anyone else?
Brother Jason's family.
Brother Jason Merritt's family. Let's continue to remember them. Anyone else? You got any written down? Is any just mention aloud if I don't get to it? My Uncle Wendell Chapman, he was in Nashville. I forget exactly what was going on, but then he's waiting for his spleen, where they took his spleen out to heal so he can go back, I think, at the end of April, 1st of May, and start his treatment. And my Aunt Joyce Turner, knee replacement, and having some pain with that, needs a touch in her body as well. Sister Jerry Ann Carley has an unspoken request. Anna Danley has the lost loved ones. Sister Sherry Mosley wants to mention the elderly. Amy Murray and Chris Danley has an unspoken request also. Is there any more? And we missed Desi Sunday night, Mr. Bishop, and unspoken request for Desi. And just remember Desi and Sister Hunter. Desi had the strep and they're quarantined, so let's remember them as well. Any others we can think of? Any others come through?
Sister Betty.
Okay. I'm trying to think. Seems like there's one I'm missing, but I don't know what it is, but the Lord knows exactly who that is. Why don't we join together? Wherever you are, join with us, and let's take these needs for the Lord. Lord, thank you so much that we can gather together, not just in a sanctuary, a building, but we can gather in the Spirit, all across in different places. Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, Georgia, wherever, Louisiana may be watching. Lord, you know exactly what the needs are in all of our lives. Thank you, God, for each one that sent that prayer request in. You know those that we made known, the unspoken and special needs tonight. All of our lost loved ones, you know who they are. Lord, you know how to reach them before the trumpet of God sounds and the rapture of the church. Those that's lost loved ones, comfort them in this time of grief, we pray. And I pray all those affected by the coronavirus, whether it's the sickness or it's job-related or whatever it might be, those working in the hospitals and nursing homes, and all those making decisions, our president, our leaders, each and every one, we bring them before you. And Lord, all those watching tonight, minister to the needs they have. All the churches across this land adjusted to this new way of having church. Thank you, Lord, for those you're reaching. I pray tonight your presence so real across this broadcast that feel your presence and minister to that soul. Thank you what you're going to do, the way you answer these prayers, the testimonies you're going to give. We give you glory. Amen. What's his talk? Brother David talked. If you haven't read his testimony of his miracle today, I believe it was, hasn't walked on his leg, one leg in 4 years, correct? And it was something he was doing this today and began to walk on that leg. Didn't even know that right that moment, the Lord healed, gave him a miracle, touched his body, his leg, be able to walk. Thank God for that. And all the other reports that we're getting and the testimonies of what God's doing in hearts and lives. Thank God for it. Amen. Brother Josh Deas is coming to preach tonight. Get in. He may not hear and see, but he can feel it. And just get in and help him preach tonight.
Amen. Good to be in the house of the Lord. I know I was saying at home, not quite the same. You do get to watch, you get to participate, but it is different. I do understand. I've been on that side already. So I do understand, do know. But God's still the same. It doesn't matter where we're at. It doesn't matter what's going on. God already knew before we woke up this morning, knew yesterday, knew last year, know what'll happen next year.
Yeah.
Amen. We serve a God that does cares and understands, knows what's going on, what's taking place, and how to move and how to work. Amen. I believe the Lord spoke with me tonight. It is a great opportunity. This is better than preaching a big Sunday morning service. I mean, these people, you think about it, just the people that's going to be ministered through this right here. Y'all share how many folks have shared and how many done this. Yeah. You won't reach those sitting on these pews. Right? That's right. So I take it as a great honor to be able to come into your home. Yeah. I mean, that's knocking on your door, coming to your house. You let me in. Right. I thank you for that. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank God for what He's going to do through all of this, where He's going to minister, souls are going to save, lives going to touch, heal, change, minister to. Amen. If you have your Bibles tonight, I'm going to try my best to step behind this pulpit. It's hard to do. So we'll do my best to step behind this pulpit. If I leave camera, I'll come back. Genesis chapter number 50. Very familiar text here. About Joseph, Jacob, nation of Israel, the beginning of the nation of Israel there. We're going to get to the very last part there. We'll start in verse 24. Read down through verse 26. Genesis chapter number 50, verse 24. Joseph said to his brother, I die. God will surely visit you and bring you out of this land to the land which He swore to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. And Joseph took an oath of the children of Israel, saying, God will surely visit you, carry ye up, and ye shall carry up my bones from hence. So Joseph died, being 110 years old. They embalmed him, and he was put in a coffin in Egypt. Amen. Let's pray now that Lord, I want to serve us tonight. Lord, we thank you right now for the opportunity once again. Lord, your word being read unto us, Lord God. Right now, we pray that you take this word, break it, meet every need, every heart, every life, and every soul. Lord, you're able right now to minister the move and the word. Will anoint, come down, minister to this body, this human vessel, may not be a hindrance to what you desire to do, the way you desire to do. But I pray you to minister to every heart, every life, and every soul. We'll be careful to praise you for tonight. Praise Jesus' holy name. Amen, amen. We know here, as the story begins here, or is ending, for the life of Joseph and Jacob here. Jacob then lived and moved all his family to the country of Egypt there in Goshen. Joseph being one of the leaders there, the rulers, he is there, and he is basically saved, gave him a reprieve. The famine that was going on, brought them in, gave them corn, gave them a place to live where they could flourish, they could multiply. God began to do His work that He desired to do through the children of Israel there. But we get to this point in time here where Joseph Jacob's already died. They took him back. They had his funeral. They took his bones and carried them back to the land of Canaan and buried them. But they are back here, and Joseph is about to die. Right. And he is just rehearsing to the children of Israel. He is rehearsing to them what God has given you a promise. Right. He's given you a promise. He's going to take you from this land. Right. He's going to take you to a place, give you a nation, make you a great nation. He is rehearsing that promise given unto them. That's right. He's taking an oath of them. He said, "Look, you don't leave me here. I don't belong here. That's right. I was just put here for God to use me to save y'all, to deliver y'all, to make this nation great. When God takes you out of here, I want to go with you. That's right. I want to leave. I want to live in the promise that God has given unto me." Right. I know Jacob knew he would be gone. His body would not be there. He would not see it with his own flesh and eyes, but he knew, but just as he held to the promise of God, that there would come one day that promise would be fulfilled. He would be able to, and not in his mortal body, but he would be buried again in a land that God had promised. That's right. Many, many years before to his forefathers, that he could enjoy just being there, I reckon, at peace right there. Amen. So you go down through, and they take this oath of him, and Joseph dies. And he's buried there in that coffin and bombed, like those Egyptians would be, laid in that coffin and put there. Not knowing how long he'd be there. The children of Israel, the Israelites that took Jacob that day, they were not the ones that come back and got his bones out of that grave. Come on. It many years later, before they come back and dug those bones up. But Joseph died believing the promise of God. Yes, amen. So we have to go all the way over to Exodus chapter 30. Get over to Exodus chapter 30, verse 19. There it is, I believe it is. They are getting ready, the children of Israel. This is some 400 some odd years later. The children of Israel are here, and they're ready to get out of Egypt. They're ready to leave the land they've been bound, slaves, captive. Moses is ready to deliver the children of Israel and bring them out. But before that, before they leave, 19 says, "And Moses took the bones of Joseph with him. For he had straitly sworn the children of Israel, saying, God will surely visit you, and ye shall carry up my bones away hence with you." So this is 400 some odd years later, that promise that Joseph had made the children of Israel take with him. Right. Some 400 some odd years later, it is finally being fulfilled. Come on. Right. Now we're waiting for a virus to get over. And I pray the Lord will take 400 years to get there. Amen. We won't make it. But we're impatient. Yeah. We're an impatient people. Right. Joseph died believing, knowing that promise was not fulfilled, and he would not see that promise with his eyes. But yet Moses went back to that coffin, dug up those bones, got them out, embalmed them, loaded them in some car or something, put them in something, carried them back to the promise. Right. That's right, amen. And Joseph died believing the promise, but Moses had to dig up the promise to get it fulfilled. Yes. I'm going to preach this for a moment to us, digging up bones. Amen. Digging up bones. Yes. I don't know, you look right here, the children of Israel, they're there, and they're in this land they're captive in. They can't leave, Joseph has been laid in that grave. But then this point in time is coming, this time. And this was not a peaceful time for Israel. They were enslaved, they were captive, they were under hardship, they did not have freedom, they couldn't do as they want. Right. They tried to kill the babies, all the male babies, tried to kill them all. And all these things that happened to the children of Israel while they were there in that land of Goshen. Right. They and overtaken them, and he just put them under slavehood, and they could not do as they wanted to do. That's right, amen. And Moses come in, going to deliver to them, it got harder and harder. They had to gather it on straw, like on bricks, and you know how the story goes, and the plagues come through. They see all these things happen, had to go through all of that, and then finally they come to the place and the point that they're finally going to be delivered. Yeah. Sometimes we got to go through some hard times.
That's right.
To get where God wants us to go.
That's right. Amen.
Sometimes we got to go through those times that are not so pleasant to get to where God,
right.
to where we dig that promise.
That's right.
Back up.
Amen.
What has God done for us?
Come on.
What's God done for you?
Yeah.
You could, I don't know who's watching or who will watch, but you just stop for a moment and think back through your life.
Yeah.
You go all the way back. Just think back for a while. And these children of Israel here, they thought back some 400, 450 years. Thought back to a promise that some of their forefathers had made to a man that's dead.
That's right.
And it meant a whole lot to him at the time because he never seen it, never laid eyes on him. I mean, way yonder back.
Yeah.
To some promises they just, I mean, all the way back to the time of Abraham, when God gave him that promise, you're going to be a great nation.
Right.
You're going to multiply, you're going to do all these things.
Yeah.
They go all the way back to the beginning to get a hope of what God
Amen.
was trying to do for them.
That's right, yes.
How many times in our life do we go back?
Amen.
How many promises that God had given us that are buried somewhere
That's right.
waiting for us to get a hold of?
Amen. Yes.
How many times there are promises that things that God had given us and things that God's done for us? I got to think as several elders in the last couple of years have passed on to glory. I was thinking the prayers they prayed while they're still sitting in the graves.
That's right. Come on.
Those bones are still buried somewhere.
Yeah.
They haven't been resurrected because nobody went back and got those bones
That's
out.
right.
Those lost loved ones, they're still unsaved.
Yeah.
And there's mammals laying around that nobody went back and picked up.
That's right. Yeah.
There are things that God desires to do
Yes.
that we can't see done,
Amen.
that you can't see done because we
Amen.
got those bones
That's right.
out of those graves.
Yeah.
Well, I think in my life, in my mind, going back, I just recollect some things that God has done.
Amen.
I mean, just over the last 10, 15, 20, 30, however long you want to go back, you go back and look at things that God has done for you in the past.
That's right.
Things that He desires to do for you now.
Right. Amen.
And no matter what state we're living in, I do believe we base our prayers. I know we don't believe. I know we base our prayers on what we see and what we feel, and not what God or what we desire God to do,
Right.
or God's will be done.
That's right.
Why are you praying like that? You already walking. God knows you're walking, and so we pray like that sometimes.
Yeah.
We pray because this is what we do. We know God. We know you can do this.
That's right.
Because I'm already doing it.
Yeah. Right.
She said, "Boy, won't you pray?
Yeah.
God, I need a car.
That's right.
God, I give you a." We don't pray this.
Yeah.
Sometimes we got to just step out in faith.
That's
and
right.
And
Amen.
pray.
Right. Amen.
Sometimes we got to go back and dig up some bones.
That's right. Yeah.
I was thinking that as getting ready for this message, going through, Joseph died believing the promise.
Yes, he did.
One man, believing the promise, delivered the entire nation.
Yes. Amen.
Just because he believed it, Moses went back and got those bones.
Right. Right.
He didn't say one of the elders come to him and said, "Hey, you can go over and get them bones. We forgot it." No. One man died believing. One man believed.
Right.
When got those bones and got them out because he knew the promise of God was coming
Right.
for fruition. He
That's
knew that
right.
God was going to keep and do what He said He would
That's
do.
right. Yes. Amen.
Sometimes we got to just go back and remember.
Amen.
Sometimes
Yes.
it's just good for us to do that.
Yes.
I just trying to recollect these last few days. And it's a little different when they called and said your child got to start chemo. However small it is, however great it is, what it is, it just changes the things of how you think, how you look.
Right.
It just changes the aspect of the way you look at things.
That's right.
Yes, you're gonna go about this, about that. You got side effects. You know all these things are gonna happen. But we'll have to go back sometimes just to remember.
Amen.
I had to go back this thing and dig up some bones, Brother Justin.
Come on. Right.
I had to go way back.
Yeah.
This is 11, finna be 12 or 20, whatever she wants to say. So go back 6 years ago
Yes.
when she was praying for a ball to come out of the cover.
That's right.
Now you're talking about a little bit of faith.
Right.
I mean, she just knew. I said, we're going to pray. We're going to get this ball. God send some rain. Get this ball out of that cover.
Right.
That's all she knew. That's all she cared about.
Right.
She didn't say, well, Daddy said he'd go get it. Daddy told her he couldn't get it. I wouldn't have time. She just knew that if she prayed.
Yeah.
Daddy said, we pray God send the rain and the ball will come out.
That's right.
That's all she knew. And that's all she done.
That's right.
So sometimes I have to go back and dig up those bones.
Amen. Right.
God did this.
Yes.
God did that.
Yeah.
And I do believe watching tonight, somebody's got to go back.
That's it.
And it doesn't matter. We base our prayer on condition that we are right now.
Yeah. Right.
Where you're at now, you're basing your prayer or you're not praying because of where you're at.
Come on.
If we just pray, we're going to be.
Amen.
You may be lost, but I want to be saved.
That's it.
You may be sick, but I want to be healed.
Yeah.
I believe the promises of God. There's still power in the blood.
Amen.
And if you talk with Jesus, it doesn't matter what's going on,
That's
what the
right.
circumstances say, or what it may stack up against you.
Right.
It may say that, well, your body may tell you that this is happening, but God said this can happen.
Amen.
I may have to go back and dig up some more.
Yeah.
When I was this age,
Right.
when I was just a little girl, I was just a little boy. Or I remember back when Granny used to take me to church all the morning, that there was some bones I could go back and dig up because
Amen.
Granny prayed a prayer,
Yeah.
or somebody prayed a prayer, and I remember
Yeah.
how they prayed.
Amen.
I remember there's still power in the blood of
That's
Jesus.
right.
There's still power to save, to heal, to save, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
There's still power with
Yeah.
that.
Amen.
But so many times I limit my prayer on where I'm at.
That's
Come on.
right.
God knows you're lost.
Yeah.
He knows you want to be saved.
Yeah.
He knows you're sick. He knows you want to be healed.
Yeah.
Right.
We was over at youth Friday the other day, a couple weeks ago now, and Brother Doug had preached that night. So I wanted to anoint bottles of oil, anointing oil in there. And it was over, service was over. We were sitting in the fellowship hall there. And he walks in that side door and walks by me. I'm sitting there at the table by myself. He walks by and just takes his little bottle of oil and just sits down on the table and hold that from him. I said, all right, this is the last bottle I have left. I reckon he didn't want to carry it. He come over and just sit on the table and said, take this right here with you. Or he just said, hold this for him. So I held it for him. Still holding it. If he wants it, he got to come get it. But there's time we're going to go back, Brother Mark.
That's right.
I took that oil and took it home and I set it on the end table there where everything's at. I just set it down right there. It's been sitting right there ever since. It's just been sitting right there. I mean, it hasn't moved. Just sitting right there. And when you pick it up, it's got a little oil stain because the top was cut off and the oil it got everywhere. And it's a little bitty oil mark on the table right there where it's been sitting right there so long. Now, what all did God desire to do with that bottle of oil that's been sitting right there for a few weeks?
Right.
Come on.
Right.
How many times have I been sick?
Yeah.
How many times somebody else need
That's it.
what I had sitting?
Right.
How much in our life,
Yeah.
in our lives,
Yeah.
God desired to do something?
Yeah.
God desired to a miracle or whatever it may be. Just a simple prayer.
Right.
We don't mind bringing cancer to God. God, heal this cancer. But when it's a stuffy running nose, I will give you some clarity.
Yeah. Right.
We want to limit God to what He
That's
can do.
right.
Come
Yes.
on.
Let Him do the small things first. Let Him build that faith
Come
up.
on. Right.
That cancer come on, will be no problem.
That's right.
Why did Granny not? She didn't waver. She didn't go one way the other way. When hard things come, she'd already knew that God took care of the small things. But when Lacey was 5 and took care of the ball coming out of the cover, sent the rain, that's no big deal.
Yeah.
And I just real quickly, I know we got a little time, but I just real quick, I'll try to tell Lexi, a lot of people don't know what's going on. She has a medium vessel vasculitis in her leg that will not stop spreading. It keeps spreading. It is only in her leg. It's nowhere else in her body. It's called pain. It's an abbreviation for it. But she contracted this over almost 2.5 years ago now. We've been going to the doctor for 2.5 years, just right at it, just a month too shy of 2.5 years. Couldn't find out after 2 years of it exactly, to the month almost. We finally found out what it was. And when they told what it was, well, they called Birmingham, Mobile did, and told the doctor up there what it was. They rushed us up there, got us up there. And when we walked in, After 3 hours, sitting with 3 doctors, they looked and said, "You don't have this." I said, "That's good. You just tell me what we got. It's fine." And so after 2 months of this, they finally come back and say, "Well, this is what you have." And the reason we said you didn't have it because anybody that's had it for 2 years untreated would not be walking, would not be talking, would not be playing, would play the piano, would play the whatever she played, clarinet, would not be playing outside. None of these things. You would carry her in here. We told you that you didn't have it because she don't have other symptoms. We cannot tell you why it has not spread. Sometimes we base our prayers on what we see. You know how many times she stood in front of this altar right here. We took the oil and somebody knelt down and anointed that leg and kept it from going. It always goes to your major organs. It shuts your liver, it shuts your kidneys, it shuts any of your organs down. That's what it does. 2 years untreated, her levels would be out the roof. 22 vials of blood later. She only weighs 40 pounds. 22 vials of blood later. There's nothing wrong. Nothing else. It is not affected. Even
Amen.
how many times do we pray, Brother Mark?
Right.
How many times? I have to go back sometimes.
Yeah.
God, you took care of the thing.
Right.
You may have took care of it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I just didn't know because I didn't see through the eyes of faith.
Amen. Right.
How many times do we have situations, problems?
Right.
We have things that we face,
Yes.
no matter what it is. I don't care if it's a virus, I don't care if it's the fear of it. It doesn't matter if you just financial, it doesn't matter what it is.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you lost, if you saved,
Right.
if you backslid. It doesn't matter where you're at. God already knows.
Amen.
And He's somewhere. He's got a promise built
Yeah.
up.
That's right.
I mean, it took 450 years just for Joseph. He didn't see it, but for that promise to be fulfilled, what God wanted to do.
Right.
You don't have to wait that long for all of our things. But Lord, I got that bottle of oil out there singing. I was at the house praying there. I just picked that bottle of oil up and set it out there in the front. I'm going to need this.
Yes. Amen.
I didn't put this to the side over here. I'm going to need this.
Yes.
Right now.
Amen.
I can see right now. This is what I'm going to need.
Amen.
I mean, this is what God desires for me to do.
Yeah.
This is what I can just go back and get it out.
Amen.
Set it back out there where it needs to be.
Amen.
And I believe that's the same for us tonight.
That's right.
It doesn't matter where you're at or what's going on. It doesn't matter the condition that you find yourself in.
Amen.
It doesn't matter. The children of Israel faced 10 plagues. They already knew, that God's hand was real. They didn't see all the devastation that had come through, but they were still yet living in times of turmoil and hardship. But it was fit to be. Brother Mark, God promised us how many years ago in the book of Joel?
Right.
There's going to be revival.
Yes.
He will pour out His Spirit in the last days.
Right.
I'm going to be a recipient.
That's
I don't want no bones laid in no grave nowhere.
Amen.
That I can go and get up.
Amen.
That I can go and receive what God has given.
Amen.
How many of those grandma's prayers are just laid around?
That's right.
It's hard to believe that and some of the others that I'm not even in our church, other churches throughout that we fellowship with, and I'm thinking about the prayers that have been prayed that those have laid up.
That's right.
Just laying there, waiting for somebody to go and get them.
Amen.
Just bring them out.
Amen.
Don't forget, they're still there.
That's right.
Y'all ain't forgot about them. They're still right there.
Amen.
Go dig up those bones.
That's right.
Because it's one thing for sure. If you ever need them, you need them right now. If you ever needed the hand of God working and moving throughout our nation, our community, our churches, no matter what it is, whatever church you go to, doesn't matter.
Right.
We need God moving.
Amen.
This is the time
Yeah.
God desires to move.
That's right.
How many bones are laid up?
Amen.
How many graves? What's God buried waiting on you to go get it?
That's right.
You can set it back here all you want behind the backside of that table.
Right.
We're going to get knocked over, we're going to get spilled, but it ain't going to no good.
That's right.
Got to get it out.
Amen.
Just set it over here.
Yeah.
Get up in the morning and say, Lord, this is what I need.
Amen. Yeah.
You've had it laid up the whole time. You gave it to me a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I believe that's true tonight. Somebody watching. God give it to you already.
Yeah.
It's just laid up
That's
somewhere.
right.
You got to go get it.
Amen.
Right where you're at, doesn't matter what's going on. It doesn't matter what the situation that you're in, you seem to be bound by. It doesn't matter what it is. But right now, I do believe if you'll pray.
That's right.
Somebody's already prayed and laid it up.
Yeah.
All you got to do is do your part.
Amen.
Go get it. God will bring it out of you.
That's right.
Amen. So we get our service tonight. Pray with us. Ask God to lead and move and work in your heart, your situation, your life this night. Your be His will and His way be done in everything tonight.
Lord, we thank you.
Thank you for those. Thank you, Lord, for all those.
Thank you, Lord.
There is some laid alive, sacrifice. Lord God, Holy Ghost.
Things you desire, Lord, you know the needs of each and every one,
That prayer
of every life, every heart, every situation, every circumstance. Lord, you know you laid it on my heart, Lord God. Lord, you desire to
Thank you,
speak to
Lord.
someone. Lord, no matter the situation they find themselves in, no matter the circumstance that surround them, Lord, you desire